ACTA, and I am so grateful to be here today with all of you. Uh, this program, like my colleague Betty explained, is called Rola del Día, the song of the day, the track of the day. And I just wanted to give a brief explanation as to what ACTA is. ACTA is a statewide organization that does advocacy for traditional artists. We have several programs, including a program that's called arts in prisons, arts in jails. We have a program working in Boyle Heights in building healthy communities. We have two scholarship fellowship programs. One is Culturas Vivas, live cultures, and also a learning program. We've been working as an organization for some years now, and we are very happy to be here today. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic to Betty. Thank you, Quetzal. Like we mentioned, this program is about Sonidos de California, Sounds of California, and that is a project that has been with ACTA since 2015, and it is a project that's about capturing and recording cultural expressions throughout the state. We are focusing a lot of stories of immigration. So the Sonidos de California version in Boyle Heights is an iteration that we started this year in 2020. It is also focusing on what the struggles against displacement is and how traditional arts and cultural expressions have to do with creating a sense of belonging in the communities and in Boyle Heights more specifically. Part of this project has been documenting community stories, including musicians, like the people that are going to talk today, Martina and Angelica, but also street vendors and people from the community, people that own small businesses, small business owners, people that are fighting to stay in Boyle Heights and also taking part in actions and protests for the right to housing and all of that. So all those stories and documents are going to be available next year when we launch a website with all of those stories and recordings. But for the time being, this project, the Rola del Día, Song of the Day, is showcasing 10 songs written by local musicians from Los Angeles, a lot with personal connections to Boyle Heights. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic back to Quetzal so we can introduce Martin and Angelica. Today, we are very lucky to have two composers, songwriters from Boyle Heights. We have Angelica Mata and Martin Saavedra. Welcome. So this question is for both of you, but I wanted to pass the mic to Angelica to get started. So if you can tell us about your trajectory, your career as a musician, and also how does it feel to be a young woman in this tradition, the mariachi tradition, more specifically? Well, thank you so much, Gonzalo, and thank you, everyone, for being here today with us. So, before I was born, I was surrounded by music, specifically mariachi music. My maternal grandpa, he was one of the first mariachis from Michoacan, and for my dad's family, he was the first person in his family to be a musician. The mariachi music is part of my being. Even even if when I was younger, I did not want to play this music. I didn't want to listen to this music because I didn't like it. When my parents used to go and play, I said no mariachi because I didn't want them to go and play. But after some years passed, I heard my mom and my family play for the Santa Cecilia Festival, and it was then that I grabbed a guitar and I started playing. But I was writing my own songs, during 4th of July, but also being a woman in mariachi, the most of the songs that have been played, they're written through the lens or the perspective of a male, of a man. That's tradition, but I would love to hear more songs from a woman's perspective. So that's why I started to write songs. Thank you so much, Angelica. Martin, if you can tell us a little bit more about your career as a musician and as a mariachi. Well, my trajectory is kind of long, but I'm going to talk a little bit. So I started in Lagos de Moreno, Mexico. I was 15. My father used to play the trumpet. He was a trumpet player. And I remember that when I was 12, I was crying for him to buy an instrument for me, and he didn't want to. And I think I annoyed him too much, and he bought it for me. And I think I only went to like 4 or 5 lessons. And I just started playing, and I mean, I didn't really know that much, but my love for music started right there and then. And I've always had that passion and that respect, that affection for Mexican music and for any kind of music. I don't have a favorite. Well, my favorite is obviously mariachi, but I do love all music equally. And from there, I continued with my career. I started playing guitarron, the guitar, and when I was older I started to study the trumpet. When I was older I was working with Vicente Fernandez, and then after that I came to the US to my dearest Boyle Heights. um, from there I developed a lot of affection to the community, and just walking around all the places that inspired my songwriting has been very beautiful. And well, we're here right now doing the thing that I love the most, which is music. Amazing, thank you. And speaking of music, so you both wrote songs for this project, and we are going to start with Angelica Manda's song, her composition. If you can please introduce us or present us what we're going to listen to today. Yes, of course. The name of my song is Mariachi Plaza. It's about the Mariachi Festival in honor of Santa Cecilia, in which every November the Boyle Heights community spends some time with the mariachis, and I hope you like it.
Come with me to my hometown. I know a special place with the best music around, where people from all over the world come to see paradise. Oh, Mariachi Plaza, those dear November nights in lovely Boyle. Si en mi ciudad los mariachis de mi pueblo para alegrar la gente y el cielo a la santa piedad que nos protege y alivia. Te dedico mi cantar a ti.
Gracias.
Bravo, truly, what a beautiful song, Angelica. We love and we are so proud that you wrote that for this project. But if you want to tell us more about the inspiration, you started to talk about the themes, but maybe talk a little bit more about how you manifested that, your inspiration, and who collaborated with you. So at first, it was really hard for me to choose what I was going to focus on for inspiration. I started to watch videos of my favorite artists like Ella Fitzgerald because at the beginning of my song you can see or you can hear some jazz elements to it, Pedro Infante, Lola Beltran, and many more. And I knew that I wanted to mention Mariachi Plaza in my song, but after I spoke to my parents, it was that I uh, got like that inspiration of focusing on the plaza that I decided to do this as a like honoring the mariachis. And for me, it was really special because it is my cuna, my cradle. It was there that they got together to sing, and I grew up seeing my mom and my dad there, and it's a very special place for me. Thank you so much. And likewise, we wanted to hear Martin's track, his song. So, Martin, if you want to introduce your song and the themes very briefly. So, my song for me was a little bit about, I think it took me like 2, 3 weeks thinking about it, and at the same time I had so many ideas, but I nothing came to my mind. But since I already had the idea one day coming to Los Angeles, actually coming from Mariachi Plaza, the lyrics just came to me, and I started to write it. Mostly all the life experiences that I had there, all the places that I used to walk around in, and it came from there. The lyrics that I did. Great. So with that, Quetzal, if you want to share this song with us.
Donde te encuentras, querido amor, saludándote al pasar. Esos son esos bellos lugares. Placita Olvera, el mercadito donde me voy a pasear. Mirar sus calles alumbradas por las luces al pasar. Sus vendedores ambulantes pregonando sin cesar. Recorrer calles, vecindarios, disfruto el caminar. Soy muy dichoso de estar en ese lugar. Poder llegar a Plaza del Mariachi, donde en las tardes me reúno con amigos a contemplar ese lugar hermoso, a sus mariachis que reunidos muy contentos siempre están y platicar con las personas que hay en esta gran ciudad, gente amiga y gente hermosa, en mi lindo Boulevard, recorrer calles, vecindarios, muy contento al caminar y disfrutar de mi linda comunidad.
Bravo!
Bravo.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Martín, ¿nos cuentas un poco más sobre...
Martin, can you tell us a little bit more about
Bueno, un poco más de la colaboración con los diferentes músicos
the
y
collaboration with the musicians in the process of recording the song?
El trabajo que más me costó fue hacer la canción. Ya el proceso
So,
de
what was the hardest part was writing, and the recording process is usually easier. I always am lucky to have the support of really great musicians that have always supported me. In this case, I did the arrangements,
yo grabé lo que fue trompetas,
and I recorded the trumpet and also the guitar. And my son, David Saavedra, he recorded the percussions, and Ruben Marin, he helped me with the guitarrón.
Jorge Cárdenas,
Héctor Castro, Jorge Cárdenas, and Eduardo Cárdenas, they recorded the violins.
el ingeniero de grabación fue
And the sound engineer was Juan Carlos Valladares.
la colaboración que tuve de esos grandes
That was the collaboration that we had. Great musicians that have always really supported me in projects that I participate in. And yeah, it was that.
¿Y Angélica?
And Angelica,
¿Tu pieza?
who played in your song? Well, my family. My dad played the guitar. My mom and my sister, my dad, they all played the violins and the trumpet. It was a really dear friend of mine, Christopher Rebecca. He really helped me a lot, so I am grateful. I am thankful for my family and to God for giving me such a talented family, of course.
Noté algo interesante
I
escuchando
noticed something really interesting when I heard of these
la perspectiva
songs is that
en que escribieron la letra. Era
the
una
perspective
muy,
of the lyrics was a really romantic perspective, if you want to say. And that's really important, I mean, for our culture, but also for mariachi and mariachi music, the romance, and not just between two people.
el romance puede
But the romance can truly exist between a musician and their community,
y la tierra.
between a worker and the land, etc., etc. So, if you can talk a little bit more about that sentiment of romance that you added to these songs and why,
Vamos a empezar con Angélica.
let's start with Angelica. For me, during this the pandemic, it was really hard for me to having the need or like the intention to play the guitar, and I wrote this song with the hope that one day we're gonna go back of playing with the community. And I didn't want to suffer that much, so I wanted to write a song of happiness and community. So that was my process.
Martín.
bueno,
Martin.
y escribir una canción. Yo
So for me, I have always been really passionate when it comes to music. And the music, you not only write music for love
donde tú vas, donde te acogen y te va muy bien, te tratan muy bien,
and
ese lugar a donde vas.
wherever you go, like they treat you really nicely, and not only here, but everywhere that people go, that where they feel grateful for. There's like a passion of writing
Sentir ese
about those spaces. So like that's what inspired, like feeling that love and that passion and that inspiration.
Perfecto, se siente mucho
Perfect.
amor.
And you could really feel the love.
Angélica, lo empezaste a mencionar.
And Angelica, you started to mention that we are in a pandemic, and it's been like a really hard period for a lot of musicians and artists. So, you personally, how are you surviving the pandemic as artists?
Y de nuevo, ¿qué
And
significa
again, what did it mean for you to write this song during this time, seeing your own struggle and also the struggle of other mariachis in Boyle Heights? If we can start with Martin.
Bueno, desde que empezó la pandemia fue
So
difícil
since the pandemic started, it was really hard,
pero en especial
not
para
only
los
for
músicos
me
que no
but for
tienen
everyone, musicians or non musicians, but especially for us that we don't have any other backup. So it was really hard to
hemos estado
get
saliendo
through
mucho a
that. Up
bailar,
until
a
now,
hacer fiestas,
I think people are
y
starting
ya los
to
músicos empiezan a
have
buscar
parties again, and we're
algunas
starting to
cosas
get
para
hired
hacer.
again a little bit more.
Al principio de esta
But
pandemia,
at the
primeros 2
beginning,
meses
I
fue
think for the
difícil,
first 2 or 3 months, it was really, really
pero
hard.
ya estamos, ojalá y espero que salgamos
And
adelante.
I really hope that we're going to
Porque es muy importante que esta
overcome
vuelta
this,
pueda,
because it is really
poder
important for us
que vuelva todo a la
being
normalidad,
able to go back to
sin tener
normal
esa máscara cuidándonos,
without
este,
wearing that mask, like taking
a veces es
care
un
of
poquito difícil
watching out
porque
even
no todos los
for our
músicos
own
tenemos
compañeros is
esta
really hard
casa donde
for
ya no
us,
conocemos mucho más de
specifically for
ya no le
musicians,
importa
that
que
we
sea
go to
fuerte o
houses and
lento,
when people are like
tiene una
drinking too
tradición,
much, they don't care, they want to sing with you, so we
algo
have to really
difícil
take care of
para
ourselves.
nosotros.
It's really hard. It's hard for musicians. Yeah, and also I am not only a mariachi, but I'm a kindergarten teacher as well. And thankfully, through that job, I've been able to live, and I really miss playing mariachi. And I've thought so much about mariachis during these difficult times, and it's really hard. And like I said, writing this song it was just based on the hope that I feel that we're going to go back and play for the community. Thank you so much, both of you. And there is a question from Michael Romo for Angelica. How would you describe your relationship with music? Oh my God, that is a really hard question. Well, my relationship to music, it is something so beautiful to me as my own being. During the pandemic, I wasn't singing, and I was actually suffering because I wasn't singing. That's part of me. I think that God brought me to this world to sing songs and to sing, basically. So that's my relationship to music. Thank you. Thank you for that question. Gracias por esa pregunta. Martin, I'm going to extend that question to you. How would you describe your relationship with music? Well, my relationship with music, ooh,
Con la música es igual que un matrimonio.
it is the same as a marriage. It is the same thing. Sometimes fighting, but we're always there. We're right there.
Es una vivencia a la par.
It is
No
living
lo voy a dejar.
as it is. I'm never gonna leave it.
Extendiendo eso
And also extending that to the community, because
temas hablaban
both songs talk about community. So I wanted to ask you, what is the musician's commitment towards the community or with the community?
El compromiso que el músico tiene hacia comunidad,
So the commitment that the musician has to the community is representing it
llevarle alegría a sus
and
fiestas,
bringing joy to their parties, making sure they're happy, and making sure to keep that tradition alive. That is the commitment.
Angélica.
Angelica? Sorry, I was just waiting. So commitment is to bring joy and being there for them, and preserving the mariachi tradition for the younger people, and that is my mission. Keeping the mariachi alive for the youth. And speaking about that mission, both of you are not only you are a kindergarten teacher, but you are mariachi music teachers as well, and you have schools, you have what's called a conservatory to uh, like disseminate some of this tradition. Can you talk about that, please? Oh yeah, precisely. Next week we're going to start a course in the Mula school for every young person that wants to go. Of course, we're going to be very careful. We have really small groups,
está enfocado, más que nada, estamos aceptando a todo el mundo, pero más que nada está enfocado
and we are accepting everyone for them to have a good musical background. And I focused
aprendan bien todas sus teorías.
on them to learn all the theory so they don't struggle like I did. I had to learn theory when I was pretty advanced or like far along. So when you start with a really good basis, you don't struggle. It's not hard. So that's a commitment that we have,
Y esa es una meta que siempre he tenido.
and that is a goal that I've always had.
Gracias, Angie.
Thank you.
Sí, también soy maestra de armonía con el Conservatorio de Mariachi de Boyle Heights con mi familia.
I am also a harmony professor in the Boyle Heights Conservatory, giving classes to the community so we can preserve mariachi music. And during this pandemic, we have online classes, and we are still trying to teach, and students really love it. And for me, it's something really beautiful to be a teacher and keeping our culture alive, especially during these times.
Betty.
Thank you, Betty.
Una pregunta más, yo creo que
We have one more question, so we
y
close the session today, and this one comes from Neston.
¿cuál es, qué es algo nuevo que hayas aprendido sobre
What is something new that you learned about yourself during the process of creating this song or writing this song?
Bueno, yo no puedo hablar sobre la experiencia
Well,
otras
I
compañeras
can't talk about the experiences of other compañeras, but
y por eso
there are obstacles. I that has never really taken the inspiration away from me, like as a woman in mariachi, and like that. That's what I said. That most of the songs that have been written through the perspective of males, and I would love to hear more about women's perspective, and that is why I wrote this song. That I would love to keep writing songs from my perspective.
Martín?
Martin?
Bueno, lo que yo descubrí
Well, what I discovered is that I used to compose very sporadically. I haven't really written that much, and now something that I discovered about myself is that
de hecho, tengo unas canciones que
I have some songs that I am planning to write for a very special person.
próximamente las voy a sacar.
It's going to be released very soon, and that is something that I discovered that it's been getting easier to write. Before, I used to think a lot, and I think now it just comes out easier.
Muchas gracias, Angélica y Martín.
Thank you, Angelica and Martin. Thank you so much, and thank you for being part of this project. It is an amazing effort, and it is always an honor to share a space with you, and I appreciate your work so much. I wanted to invite everyone next week, Friday, same time. We're going to be with Raul Pacheco and Erika Organista with their new songs for this project. So everyone's invited. There's Raul. There you go.
No sé si quieres
And
cosa para cerrar, Betty.
I don't know if you want to say something else for closing. Okay.
Si nos pueden hacer un favor,
If you can do us a favor in filling out a poll just to let us know what you thought about the program so we can keep getting together to create this kind of programming. And Jen just shared the links. That's it. Thank you so much. We hope that you enjoy your weekend.
Gracias.
Thank you.
gracias, Alexia.
Thank you, Alexia, our amazing interpreter.
Ya pueden parar el Facebook Live.
Yeah, I think Jen's on that.
I just took it off. Yeah.
Okay. Bye,